Good evening. I'm Epstein, and here we are with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up. And this is for the first day of summer, and it is the 21st of June, 2023. All right, interesting day. I'm sure you watched all day long as I did. It was all morning. Fed Chair Powell in front of Congress. And again, I don't agree with what he did in the sense that he went through the spiel that we went with 75-point hikes, then we dropped to 50s and then 25s. Now we want to stand back and see what our work has done. I can't call you president, but I can go just like Marilyn Monroe. Oh, Mr. Fed Chair, you've already seen what it's doing. We have sticky inflation. Do you think ours is any different than Canada's, Australia's, England's? It isn't. We're all paying the price of COVID-19. It doesn't matter to me if there was too much thrown when you look back and all the world was falling apart and everybody did what they had to do to get things going. Was a lot done wrong? Yep. Was a lot of money in America stolen by people that didn't deserve to get the relief and they took it? Absolutely. In droves? Yep. Will these people get caught? Nope. You'll get a couple of headline cases, but that's about it. And so be it. Next time, you have to do it different. And I said next time because in this day and age, there could be another pandemic. We don't know. All right. But when I heard him say, I want to stand back and see for a month, do you think a month's going to change anything? Maybe they're right. I will admit that he's on to something if on the next CPI report, core inflation comes in, core, under 5% and looks like it's tumbling in the different categories. I'm with him then. But don't tell me you drop 0.2 of a point or 1/10 of a point and you think you got it under control. You're trying to get to 2%. You're 2.5 times that amount. So I do think that you should kill the patient, if you will, the enemy, and then worry about resurrecting it. Okay. But the market was all over the board with it. One of the stocks I'm looking at, Rivian, got beaten up. And yet Rivian came out with their new model. I don't know if you saw it today. They're coming out with something that's going to compete with Tesla 3. It's not ready yet, but it's going to be a $40,000 to $60,000 small SUV. They bought a company that does programming for maps and the like. So another vehicle. And they've announced this week that they're still staying in the charger business. Stock, though, took a beating on it today. Maybe it's too much and they can't get their trucks out in time. I don't know, but those seem to be the cases. All right. So when we look at Rivian, you could see how it came up in a big outside day to the downside. So something big. The traders, analysts didn't like what they heard on that because you took a big swoop to the upside and just wiped it all out in one day. Now, it's interesting where it stopped, don't you think? What do I call the red line, the line in the sand? It is from this point that markets decide if they're going to be bullish or bearish. When you're over that, you have a bullish bias. When you're under it, I teach you have a bearish bias. You're literally right on it. You close 1462, 1463 is the number. I know you'll tell me, oh, it just is. It's more than that. Where did the market stop the rally? Have you taken the enhanced Bollinger Band course? You will see this over and over. People get wildly bullish and they get thrown right back. You only stay over these black lines 5% of the time. So the guy's buying it for the breakout because I hear it inevitably. This is the time it's going to run fine. Can it stay more than 5 days in a row over it? It could, but once they're up to even 5 days in a row riding it, you got what we call that gorilla glue trade, and it's a sign of strength, not weakness. Well, that's not exactly what you were doing. You hit it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up until today, 7 days. Kept hitting the band, and you finally backed off. Okay. You're not bearish. You just took out the bull and you went to neutral on it. And the market was it overbought yesterday? Well, any reading over 70 is overbought. Overbought, over the Bollinger Band yesterday. And traders are telling me it's going higher because I had calls on it. I go, no, this is not the spot that I think. And boom. I didn't expect this, but same thing. So Schwab, still under some pressure here. Momentum down. Higher high, lower low, not falling apart. I can't call this yet bearish. Now, if you take out not today's low, but yesterday's low, Tuesdays, be careful. You could easily get back to 52.74 to challenge the lower Bollinger Band. So I think tomorrow's an important day in it. Now, UGA, the gasoline fund, what do we have here? We have an uptrend that is making a battle stand against the 18-day average. I am still friendly gasoline. However, it's overbought. It's not embedded. When you get readings over 70 and they're not going sideways over the 80 level, no, I don't join into the parade. I back off. So yes, I am bullish. So don't say, oh, Ira, you weren't bullish. I am bullish, but not quite the setup that I like. In the financial services, the first challenge of the 100 in green, the 200-day average, and the Bollinger Band was enough. And the market backed off, and now with tonight, it's losing the embedded reading. So you got a 74 reading. The only time it can re-embed is tomorrow with a big up day. Staying down like this says the price and the 18-day average should make a run at each other. Whoops, I don't know what happened in XLI, but some piece of data as we're talking came in. I'll go to the next chart. I'm sorry about that. You saw it happen. Remember I had this line in gray, that very faint gray on the video, and I said, watch out, I don't think you're going very far from that line. I feel pretty good in that call still. It is an embedded reading. I am still in the bull camp until that red line is underneath, 79 on a close. I think breaks like this will be bought by the pros. Stocks, no. You lost the embedded reading yesterday, not today, and boy, do I feel good. This is a trade that I had put people into, and I was wrong. Let me spell it for you, W-R-O-N-G, all right? And I used the slow stochastic. It didn't work in this case, but if you and I step back, yesterday was the day to come out. You had a reading under 79. I'm looking for price in the 18-day average to now make the run at each other. I feel pretty darn good. I didn't lose that $12. I lost a dollar and something per the recommendation. Okay. You'll hear me talk a lot. The ones, remember, I'm wrong. I'm Mr. Swiss Cheese. I have plenty of losers, but I also have another side to me that's beautiful because there's plenty of trades that occasionally, remember, a broken cock is right twice a day, so I'm going to get some luck here. I like XHB still. So, to me, this market, as long as it's got the embedded reading, I still think it's buy until it loses that. The potential's there for 79.31. Get a reading under 79. I'd say goodbye to that. On the energies, you're in a bearish mode, but it's one I don't trust. Why? Notice how close and how narrow the Bollinger Bands are. You're more or less spinning like in a pipe. And from it, you build the energy for whatever the next trade is. Currently, it's down. The pros are probably selling the market at 79.72. It stops right over that high, seeing if they can get there. I don't think it's a high, good bet. Yes, the trend is down. I'm certainly not talking bullish. I just don't like that sideways action. Gold keeps getting beat up. Why not? The Fed keeps saying today, they said, we're going up on interest rates further. That is exactly what Fed Chair Powell said today. He also said they're going to be data dependent. So I got confused again, and I admit my age gets people confused, but I'll take those pills for the memory. We're going to go up in interest rates. Remember what he's saying, but we're going to pause to see if our work's done. Does that make any sense to you? It makes no sense to me. Which side, Mr. Fed Chair? All right. If you're looking, then you're not saying, if you think that your work was enough to pause and it's going to slip on you, why do you raise rates? Maybe you keep slipping. It's both sides of the mouth. People, it's so subtle, people don't pick up on it. Silver, look at how it fell apart. When the gold-silver ratio changed, and I show it in the metal video, go look at that. This is what caused that. Boom. And we picked it up right there, picked it up at the early part of it before it did all this damage. Now, copper, eating my heart out in the futures, but on this market, you don't want to be a buyer. This market, take a look. You were embedded, and today you lose it. What's the only time you can get it back? tomorrow. So if you're up tomorrow and you come in and you see that suddenly that red line's like 82, 83, it's probably worth nibbling into the market, in my opinion, if that would do it. But if it doesn't do that and it's down, away you go. Why'd copper do all this today? Well, copper's up because China's throwing money at the automaker sector. So they went in and they're throwing quite a bit of funds for the cars, and then they'll find ways for the people to buy them, and that's the area they're hitting right now. Remember, they've been lowering interest rates for 8 days, different ones, repos, deposit rates, and so on. This is the first little move, and it's not a huge move, but it's a good one, and trying to get that going. I like BND. I think I've said it to you over and over, that I happen to think that the back end, and that's where I want to be very clear, the back end of the curve yield to me doesn't have a long way to go on the upside, period. So I like these, and I think the pros are buying it, looking to get up here at the 100-day average in the Bollinger Band. In the dollar index, it's still very much in the bear camp, but I don't know how much you want to press it. You're at the Bollinger Band 100-day average. The pros, I think, are going to take money off the table there. And in FXC, I think they'll take money off the table here. You're riding this Bollinger Band. You got the Gorilla Glue trade. You're just kicking butt with that. Will it embed's going to be the big question, and I think you got to pay attention to that. Now, I want to remind you, remember, we put out at Linn all kinds of market research. We cover it the whole spectrum. Are you an option trader, a futures trader? Do you trade spreads? Do you want to know fundamental analysis? We cover it all with everything that we do. It goes both into our charting software and we can send it by email. So it appears everywhere. But you talk energies. Believe me, we got energy pros from ethanol to natural gas. Our firm's very versed. The grains, the meat markets, the softs, if you trade those. Then, of course, you come into the financial arena and you're talking, are we going to do the stock indices, the currency markets? What are we seeing in the metals especially? We've got it, and it's all throughout the day. So we don't write one report in the morning and we're done. Oh, no. We're updating different reports, giving you different ideas, showing you what's going on. Take a look at it. It's free for you if you haven't seen it. Give you a couple of weeks of it. Just go to iRepstein.com, free offers. Move your cursor up here. Give it a click as well. You trade ETFs? You want to see this because they're based, a lot of them, on exactly what we're writing about. I'm Ira. I'll see you first thing in the morning. Have a good evening.